Hello and welcome to BitMinutes TV. I'm your host, Gina Carr, and I'm delighted that you could join us today. We have a fabulous guest for you, but before I introduce our guest, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about BitMinutes. BitMinutes is sponsoring this series, the BitMinutes Women for a Better World initiative, where we're bringing you women that are doing amazing things in the blockchain space. And we're doing that because BitMinutes is very committed to helping women around the world. And they do that using this amazing technology that they're creating that basically combines prepaid cell phone minutes with microloans that are all wrapped up in this cryptocurrency shield. So it's really amazing technology. I'm very proud to be associated with this company, and it's going to help eliminate poverty throughout the world because it's going to make these microloans, nano loans, if you will, available to women and men throughout the world. And we're very excited about this. And there are big announcements coming down soon that we'll be letting you know about from BitMinutes. And with that, I want to bring on my guest, Naomi Brockwell. I've known her for a few years. We've met at conferences. She's an absolutely amazing woman. She's very talented. She's an actress. She's a podcaster. She's a YouTube video broadcaster. She's producing she's an author. And I could go on, but you're going to learn a lot about her. Please, share this with other people. Go ahead and press the share button, press the like button. Let us know where you're coming in from around the world today, and post your questions for Naomi because I know she has a lot of answers. Naomi, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Gina?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Life is good, and I was at the BitMinutes headquarters on Monday for the team meeting. Just excited about the things that are going on in the blockchain world that I'm seeing up close and personal. And I know you are traveling around the world and seeing some amazing things too. What has you most excited in the blockchain space today?
Oh goodness, there's so much going on at the moment. I'm in a pretty fortunate position where I MC a lot of conferences in the space, so it's a great way to keep up with what's going on. I feel like I always have my ear to the ground, like hearing about the new developments, new tech, new companies that are starting up, and even then, like every conference I go to, I'm just completely surprised, like, oh my God, I didn't know that was happening. Like, I feel like I'm always trying to keep up in this space. It just moves so fast. But at the moment, I mean, the latest thing that I've been looking into is decentralized exchanges, and just the way that they figure out like leverage and all of that. It's really fascinating. So I'll probably do an episode on that soon.
Okay, wow. And when you say episode, what do you mean?
So I have a YouTube channel. It's Naomi Brockwell TV, and it's a tech channel. So I interview CEOs in the space and look at different new products, and also have some fun with some ridiculous music videos as well. So there should be, there's some fun episodes coming out soon. Everyone is always like writing to me, like, when is the Roger Ver interview? It's coming. For anyone who's wondering, it's coming. It's just a lot of editing that I have to work through first. So you will see it soon.
Yeah, I've listened to a number of your podcasts, and I know they're very high in production value. You really bring in a lot of sounds and that sort of thing. And I imagine that, you've have a tremendous experience in film and TV. Tell us a little bit about your experience with Stossel. I know a lot of my friends are interested in that when I tell them that you were a producer on his show for years.
Still producer, actually.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm just part-time with him now, but it's wonderful. I wanted to focus on my own show, and so I just went part-time, but I didn't want to leave completely because when you're working with John Stossel, your learning curve is just always going straight up. So it's an invaluable experience. But yeah, no, that's been great. I started out with him at Fox Business and Fox News, and as producing content there. And he's been in the industry for so long, and he's my absolute favorite, but one of the absolute best out there. And it's good to see, like, just the way he handles himself in interviews and how he just cuts straight to it. That's something that I'm trying to learn from him and have a long way to go. Very different interview style that I have, but there's just so much to pick up from him. It's been wonderful working with him.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, I know you have your own TV series going right now. Tell me a little bit about that. I'm really excited about it.
Right, so I'm producing a series called the Hard Fork series, and it is a really exciting project, actually, that I learned about through Steemit, which, for anyone who doesn't know, Steemit is like I guess it's kind of like Reddit, where your upvote actually gives you money. And this, I was thinking, like, does this actually work? Is this real money? When I first got involved with it, I remember putting out something and I was like, so I'll get Steam. How valuable is Steam? You know, what is this thing? Is it real? And then I got, you know, upvotes and got some money on there, like money. And I was like, oh yeah, all right. And I kind of dismissed it. But then I like looked into it a little more and I was like, oh my God, I could literally just exchange this for any other cryptocurrency. I could just turn this straight into Bitcoin. And then the first time I actually made that transaction, I was like, whoa, this is real. And that was sort of like a revolution to me in terms of how people can fund their art, you know, because it's so hard for artists to be self-sustainable these days. And so discovering Steam and discovering that people can just be putting out their content and people upvoting them actually gives them money that's real money was really cool to me. I like the idea of people not having to ask for permission to create things, giving them independence and being able to be self-reliant. So I thought that was really cool. So I discovered this project called the Hard Fork series. And it was like, I mean, I'm a film producer. I've been for many years, produced a bunch of features. And I was like, okay, so this is a film project about cryptocurrency and blockchain. It's like combining my two favorite loves. So I reached out to them and I was like, I need to be involved with this. And they actually responded and they were like, we were actually about to reach out to you. We want you to be involved as well. And so it's been an amazing journey. They raised all of their incubation money for the series on Steemit. And with that, put together this concept trailer, which was really cool. So they raised about 30 grand through Steemit, which is really amazing. Just getting that initial seed capital for a film, it's a really hard thing to do. So Steemit was a wonderful platform for that. We made this trailer, and the concept is this totalitarian world where the government has become completely opaque and just a really awful regime. And everything's on the blockchain. Everything is tracked, you know, your health records and your spending and your personal information, everything is right there. And so this group of renegades comes in and tries to decentralize it all, break that apart. And it's got all this cool tech, like our director, Doug Kai, he's a Sundance alumni. So he's, you know, great experience there. We got Christopher James Baker, who's just in Ozark and True Detective. So really, really awesome team behind it. And just putting together this concept where we actually have awesome people in the crypto space involved. So Bruce Fenton is an advisor for the show. Jason King's an advisor. And having them, like real crypto people who are helping us out with the tech as we're doing the writing and helping us build this world is really, really awesome. So we're building out that project, and it's the aim is it's going to be a Netflix series is what we're aiming for. It's multi-million dollar production, so it's going to take a long time, but it's definitely been a very fun process so far.
Oh, that's terrific. And
yeah.
I know we were both in Lisbon where the Hard Fork team presented this and explained the fundraising concept. So that has me so excited. And I know that has you excited too about the possibilities for artists. And again, we're here at BitMinutes all about helping women, and there are a lot of women artists. We're here for helping everybody, but tell us about how fundraising is changing because of platforms like Steemit.
Well, it's just making it so much easier. You used to have all these barriers to entry, gatekeepers, if you will, that was stopping people from getting through and being able to create things. Because, I mean, Hollywood is just such a giant machine, right? And getting in there, it's all about who you know, and it's very, very incestuous place that I think a lot of people have turned away from of late. And you've seen other platforms like Netflix kind of rise out of nowhere and take center stage with the content that's being brought out. And that's really exciting. Suddenly, you know, with democratization of film equipment, it's so much cheaper to make a film these days. You've got, I mean, you just had that film, God, what was that film? I can't even remember what it's called, but it was a film I just saw recently, shot entirely on an iPhone. So we all have like a super high definition camera in our pocket at all times. So making use of the new technology that we have has really evened the playing field for a lot of filmmakers out there. And then in terms of distribution models, I mean, the internet has just been amazing in breaking down those barriers, because more and more, I mean, YouTube also has taken center stage. You've got people rising up there, creating platforms and making a great living, doing their own show, completely producing and being in control of their own show. So there's no longer this model where you have to get permission from an executive producer who holds all of the reins, or you have to figure out like compromises with different production houses and producers and studios and making that all work. It's just become a lot easier to be in the space. So that's a really exciting time for artists, I think, for filmmakers in particular. And then cryptocurrency has just, you know, completely changed fundraising. I mean, we've seen the ICO market just, I mean, it's been crazy. 2017 was insane, and it hasn't stopped yet. So just seeing all of this capital flowing freely and being put into all of these new projects, some of them are terrible, some of them are amazing and probably never would have gotten funding. So I'm really excited about the next few years and just seeing the benefits that free-flowing capital like crypto can have for not just filmmaking, but you know, all sorts of tech enterprises, medicine. It's going to be a pretty exciting few years ahead of us.
Oh boy. Well, you know, speaking of the free flow of money, you've been called Bitcoin girl for a long time. And I was trying to explain, I was just visiting my nephew in Atlanta recently, and he's about to turn 9. And I actually set him up with a Steemit account because he's been producing YouTube videos, and he's like, I'm not making any money. You know, I don't know, technically he's probably too young to be producing YouTube videos, but I wanted to introduce him to Steemit and to cryptocurrency. And, you know, I think I helped him understand it somewhat, but how would you explain it to a young person?
Explain Steemit or explain
cryptocurrency. Bitcoin. Let's start with Bitcoin.
Well, I would say it's just money for the internet. When you're explaining it to people, I don't think you need to go into any sort of technical depth for them to understand the value of it. I don't understand how the internet works, really, how my computer, the insides work. If you were to take it apart, I couldn't put it back together. So, and that doesn't stop me from using it all day, every day. I don't know how my car works. Like if someone took that apart, I wouldn't be able to put it back together. So I think that understanding every component of how Bitcoin works isn't necessary for getting people excited. What is exciting is that we finally have a money that is not controlled by government, which is awesome. I mean, we've had a government monopoly on the money supply for a really long time. And whenever you have a government monopoly on anything, you just have no innovation in that sphere. And that's what we've seen in money. There's been no innovation. Our financial system is this awful bureaucratic, archaic thing that is not working for an international economy and a digital marketplace. So finally, we have a digital money for an international marketplace and for a digital marketplace, which is what the internet has enabled. And that's really exciting. Suddenly, currency can cross borders in ways that it has never before. It's so much easier for that to happen now. And so if someone wanted to know, like, what is this? I would just say it's internet money. It's money that makes your commerce on the internet a lot easier, and it's not controlled by anyone, so it can't be shut down.
Ooh, that is a much easier way to explain it. I was at my high school reunion over the weekend also. That's why I was in Atlanta, and people were asking me about it. And I was explaining, and I think that I did use magical internet money a few times because they seem to understand that better. Well, if it's magical. I think about when credit cards came about, that I was a little too young to really understand you know, the change that was made, but it was certainly during my lifetime. And I imagine that was just very fear-inducing for a lot of people, that I use this piece of plastic to get to access to my money. And so I think we're seeing that sort of same technological revolution here.
Absolutely. It's a really exciting time. I love the phrase magical internet money. I know that the guys from the Bad Crypto podcast have sort of coined that phrase, like magical internet money. So it's a pretty exciting time.
Okay. And also I noticed that you wrote a book. You have at least one children's book out there. Is there another one on the way?
There is, actually. So I have Billy's Bitcoin, which is a series I put together with the amazing Jason Chatfield. He has the Ginger Meg's column. He's a nationally syndicated cartoonist in Australia. Just absolutely phenomenal. All the talent comes from him. And And so we put together this initial concept, which is Billy's Bitcoin, which is just a way to normalize crypto. When we wrote it, which was many years ago now, Bitcoin wasn't really being talked about. And when it was being talked about in light of anyone who uses this is a drug smuggler and a money launderer and a criminal and those bad grandson, and I don't know, it was just ridiculous. The media is just painting whatever so they want on Bitcoin, basically trying to push people away from it. This is this dangerous, opaque thing, don't go near it. And so by just creating a children's book where it's about this kid who uses it and it's all encrypted, the bully can't steal his money anymore, his lunch money on the way to school, just a way of normalizing it and say, no, this is something that the average person can use and it's very easy. And we don't need to be afraid of this. Children can get involved. Like it's not a scary thing. It's just a technology. The same way that an iPad is just a technology. Children are using all kinds of new tech these days, and I think that people shouldn't be scared of something just because they don't understand it. I think that they should do research into what kind of benefits there are to it, and be curious. Some of the smartest people in the world have been like, oh my gosh, this is a tour de force. I think they're the words that Bill Gates used years ago. Bitcoin is a tour de force. And if you have really smart people just saying, no, there's something in this, but you have the mainstream media saying this is a really bad thing, I would always encourage you to be a bit more curious and look a bit further than the local tabloids, because there's just a lot there to discover.
Okay. Well, I saw recently you're known for your innovative Bitcoin and crypto related music videos. I saw you had a new one recently. What was the inspiration of that?
Oh, well, because I'm absolutely obsessed with J-pop. So it's so embarrassing, but I watch J-pop and K-pop videos all the time. I even took some K-pop dance classes, and I think it's amazing. It's just so full of life and energy, and it's so fun. And I fall madly in love with J-pop. I can't speak Japanese, but I was like, I want to make a J-pop song about Bitcoin. And so I got some friends to help me write that. And then I watched way too much anime as well. I've even got I don't know if you know Magi, the series, but I love Aladdin, and I've got a Sinbad up over there. I'm ridiculous. It's I probably shouldn't be saying this in a live interview. It's like a terrible confession. But but yeah, I just thought it would be really fun. I really like to keep the Bitcoin space light and fun. I think that's really important, especially with new tech. I mean, no one wants to be involved with something if they're like, oh my gosh, this is shrouded in controversy and darkness and bad people, taking punches at each other on the internet and hating each other. A lot of people are just going to be like, oh, I don't want to get involved with that then. That sounds unpleasant. How about I just stick to these nice, fun things over here? So to keep the space light, I think, is really important. And just to show that, there are people having a lot of fun with this tech. New tech is exciting. We should be excited about the future. This is an incredible revolution that we're in the midst of right now. We get to witness it. I don't think we realize right now how lucky we are, but we're certainly going to realize it in the future when we look back and say, oh, wow, we were right there, right at the start. So I think it's very important to keep things fun. And that's sort of the impetus for these ridiculous music videos I put together. It's all very tongue in cheek, but I have a lot of fun doing it.
Well, they're wonderful. They're very entertaining. They're a lot of fun. And to your point, yes, they kind of make the tech part of it seem less scary. So I absolutely love that. Well, as we wrap up today, Naomi, tell us, what is coming down the pike? What should we be thinking about? And really, as you say, it's a very exciting time for us to be in the world. I mean, I think about when the internet was coming along and people were like, what's going on here? And it's totally changed our world. I believe that blockchain technology is going to change it even further. So what is the next big wave that you think we should be looking at where it's going to impact our lives significantly?
Well, I mean, we're looking to the future and what's to come. I would take heed from Ron Paul. I had the opportunity to interview him at the start of the year, and what he said has just really stuck with me. He basically said there is an upcoming battle between government and crypto users because this takes a lot of power away from the government, and the government realizes that. They're not just going to take this lying down. So we do have a giant battle ahead of us. So what are we going to do? And he said, do not concede to government. Do not add a little bit of regulation into what you're doing, we always have this temptation to say, oh, well, we'll just add a little bit of regulation and then that'll make them happy. It won't affect us too much. Everything will be great. And he said, don't do it, because it starts with a little and then it just grows and then you lose control of whatever it is you're doing. So I thought that was very, very prescient of him, as always. He's an amazing man. And I just think, as Bitcoin people move forward, just keep in mind there is going to be a big battle. There is going to be this conflict between government and people who want to maintain, financial privacy, financial autonomy, freedom with their choices. And you're just going to have to know that battle is coming up. And if you want to be involved, if you want to have your freedom, you're going to have to fight for it, and just be prepared for that. So, that's what I would say. It's, it's an exciting future with all this tech, but the tech won't stay around long if the government really tries to crush it. I mean, they can't shut down Bitcoin completely, but they can shut down third parties, people who are building on the platform, actual startups who are using the tech if they wanted to. So just be careful out there and keep fighting the good fight is what I would say.
Oh, such an important point to make here and to close us out with, because the regulation is something that I also am like, no. And to your, they can't close it down, but they certainly can make it more difficult in certain countries for the users, for people to access different platforms and different exchanges and such. So I'm with you that no regulation, and Ron Paul is just so fantastic. I saw him also just a few months ago, and he just lights up the crowd. He gets everybody so excited. He has more energy than most 20-year-olds that I know.
Oh, I know. I couldn't keep up with him. I got at the Satoshi Roundtable this year, I got to hang out with him for several days, and he's just I felt like my IQ raised 10 points and my integrity increased just being around that man by osmosis. He's a really awesome guy. So I'm very thankful for that experience.
Oh boy. Well, with that, let's wrap it up. Naomi, tell people where they can find you.
So for the Hard Fork series, if you go to hardforkentertainment.io, you'll be able to find out more about what we're doing there. My YouTube channel is Naomi Brockwell TV, so you can type that into YouTube and that'll pull up my channel. I would love it if you like my stuff to subscribe. That would be awesome. And otherwise, just Twitter is probably a great way to get hold of me if you want to. It's just @SkyCorridors.
Fantastic. Well, I see there are definitely some people out in our audience, and thank you guys for posting there. So it's some very specific questions about BitMinutes, which you guys, there are some exciting announcements coming down the pike soon. So just keep tuned to our Telegram channel and to the Facebook page and to the Twitter feed, and you're going to be seeing some more exciting things. BitMinutes is bringing you this series of the BitMinutes Women for a Better World initiative, because we know that by sharing our technology, where we combine the prepaid phone minutes and turn that into nano loans for mama in Mexico to be able to get loans to build her business. Let's say she needs some material for her handbag business, and she's got the money tied up in the cell phone. Well, how does she get that money? She's going to be able to get it through BitMinutes nano loans, which are all backed by cryptocurrency, which is currently in ICO mode right now. So check it out. Go to bitminutes.com, join us, and come along for the ride. We are going to have a lot of fun as we work to make the world a better place. With that, BitMinutes, better crypto for a better world.